As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster.
Homeboy trippin', he ain't know I got a gun. When it come to pop, man, we do shit for fun. You ain't got one, brother, you better run. Now I'm in the back getting head from my huns. While she going down, I break it off what I done. Smoking on my blunt, saying she ain't having fun. Bitch, give it back then, you don't need none. Everybody in the club getting tipsy. Everybody in the club getting tipsy. Everybody in the club getting tipsy.
Everybody in the club getting tipsy.
Happy Valentine's Day, everyone, from us here at the pub. Hopefully, you guys are ready for a wonderful evening, afternoon, day of sharing the love you have for your significant other or whatever else you may desire, right?
If your ass is doing it right, you're getting your poll right now while listening to the pub.
That's right. We're like, just put the Barry White aside, fire up the pub. Maybe the Houston 500 episode once this one's over. I don't know what kind of gas you got in the tank over there, but we maybe got an hour and change in us here. You might have to throw on another one to get through it.
Yeah, see if you can talk her into a pair of those knee pads. Dust them off. You want to know? Someone asked me earlier. You want to know the answer to a healthy relationship, and that's for both of you to dust off those knee pads. Let's be honest.
I mean, what knee pads are you wearing, sir?
What's that?
Are you just saying that you both need to be givers? Is that your point?
I mean, I'm not fucking blowing the mailman by any means, but
I hope not, but stranger things
if you do it right,
have happened.
you're not always laying down, you know what I mean? There's all sorts
Sure.
of places this could take place.
Sure, absolutely.
Same ways I would hope you would feel that,
Yeah. Being a union member as you are, I have a feeling that the ergonomics of a
you keep
situation.
them dick sucking slippers in the truck at all times,
I-
just in case.
I
You
have
never
a
know.
feeling that the ergonomics of a situation are important to you, right? I imagine that, again, being a union worker, that you don't bend over and lift anything off the ground. It probably has to be at a certain height so you don't hurt your back,
So
things like that. So, I mean, I
in
don't know
the
if you try to prop the old lady up on the counter or
in the
what.
first oh hell yeah, I would. In the first year that I worked at the company I'm still currently with, me and this old timer are working one day. I can't remember what we're doing, but I'm fucking like, it's all knees. And I told him, I was like, you know what? In the last year, I think I've spent more time on my knees than the current owner's wife has for this company. You know what I mean? And the look that guy gave me, he's just like, oh, fuck, man. Where do they find these guys?
Right. Well, you're one of a kind. That's for sure. I don't know that they make too many others like you.
Ooh,
Um,
could be true. What do you
most
think
of
about that
them,
PBR
most
headband?
it is awesome, courtesy of Uncle Rubber Glove or
Yeah,
whatever.
Dr. Strange Glove.
Yes, Jeff. Well, Jeffro coming in the clutch with the PBR swag.
I was trying to rock the fucking mask with it too, but just wasn't. I don't know if I can get all my drinks in.
Yeah, I don't know how they do it, man. I don't know how they do it in the ring or the bedroom.
I don't know. We're gonna try it out though.
Either one. I tell you what, Valentine's Day though as a whole, never been a big holiday. I don't know. I've never. It's like Hallmark holiday. Like we've had this conversation. I just don't see why this one day all of a sudden do you express your love for your significant other?
Just tell the listeners what they want to hear. Give them the no ass tonight.
What?
Be
What do you
honest.
mean?
I mean,
No,
what?
I'm just saying in general.
You're
I just
so
don't see
Debbie
what the
Downer about it.
I don't
Why
see what the
not?
significance of it is. I guess. I'd be pissed if your significant other hasn't done shit for you all year long, and then all of a sudden this day rolls around and they pull out all the stops. I'd be like,
This is basically steak and blowjob day, and you're pissing all over it. So
well, I'd
poo
be
poo
pissed
on
if the
you,
only day
sir.
of the year that you're getting a blowjob is on Valentine's Day.
Steak and blowjob.
I'd be pissed if the only day of the year you're getting steak and a blowjob is on Valentine's Day.
Maybe just this day they're really invested. What's wrong with that?
What makes them more invested on this day than any other day? Just because
Because
what
the
the
television told them to, just like everything else. Why not? Right?
I guess, man. That's probably the smartest thing you've said this whole
Fuck.
time. At least there's truth to it. You know, there's a lot of stuff that people do just because they feel like that's what they're supposed to do.
It's called programming for a reason.
I mean,
Right? You said you don't call them films. It's programs.
correct.
Right?
No, they're movies.
No, I'm saying
Oh,
like
like no, they're programs. Yeah,
television. Yeah.
the
It's a
news,
program.
TV show.
You're being programmed.
Um,
You're not doing a great job right now.
of what? Being programmed or
For
programming?
Valentine's Day, obviously not.
No, I guess I'm just Debbie Downer. It's not that I don't believe in love and all those things. That's not it at all. I just don't understand what makes this day so much better than the rest of them.
Why couldn't you have a day set aside just for that? Everybody else gets their day. Casimir fucking Pulaski gets a day. Why can't you?
Yeah, well, that's a unique to Illinois thing. Just because, and I still don't even know what the fuck the guy did. Honestly,
I don't know. He's Polish.
that's all I know.
That's about
I
all
mean,
he's got going for him. In the
um,
fucking name of Kashmir. I love that.
sure. I mean, I would much rather celebrate a real, meaningful holiday like St. Patrick's Day, and it's only
I haven't
merely
seen a
a
fucking
month
snake all
later.
year. And I think it's due to my boy, St. Pat.
That's part of the whole deal, right?
How do you
Snake thing.
think how do you think he would feel
If
about the current state of the Catholic Church?
how would I feel?
No, St. Pat.
Well, considering he's a saint, I probably think
Would
it's great. I don't know.
just go
I mean,
along with it.
and I
Is
get it.
he
Yes,
gonna be like the rest? Is that what you're telling me?
I'm saying that I understand. Yes,
Blind eye guy.
the pedophile thing is a big problem, but
Yeah, it's a
there's
huge fucking issue,
sure,
let's be
but I'm
honest.
saying there are other issues with the Catholic Church that are also a problem. I would say that
But they don't
beyond
involve
that.
children, so I'm more than likely I'm okay with them. I
Well,
don't even really care.
not in that sort of a direct
Most
way,
religions are shady. I mean, I'm
right?
okay with being shady. Fuck, I'm shady. It's just the kid diddling thing. I can't overlook. It's so weird.
Um, no, that's fair. That's
And
fair. I mean, I
until they
think.
fucking acknowledge it, fuck them.
Well, I think they half-ass acknowledge it, but I don't think that they really
Yeah,
like
in
they don't
court when they have
react.
to pay
Yeah,
out,
they don't
they
react the way
acknowledge it.
that we all hope that they would, right? But
And those assholes that pass around that serving plate, what are they doing? They still fucking throwing that money out. Donation, I guess, not serving
right.
plate, but you know what I meant.
That makes me think again. I was like doing research the other day on my source for all things in life, TikTok, and I saw a video of one of those churches, the speaking in tongues, dancing around churches,
Yeah, hell yeah,
and
they're getting after it.
the pastor standing there. He looks down at the guy, and he said, "What did he say to him? Something like." Speak that holy language or some shit to the guy. And the guy just sits, he stands there for a minute. Then he just goes, "Rah, rah, 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 rah," and everybody just fucking goes crazy,
Ape
man. Like
shit.
they're so pumped. Like,
I love when they put like the dubstep music and shit over top of them.
oh,
I cry on some of those. I love them. I've been there. I know that's Pentecostal church. That ain't normal
no.
church. Them's white people.
I I don't understand, man. So okay, that's another thing. White people, all right. Christianity originated in the Middle East, right?
Yes, not white
Okay.
people.
So, we can blame white people for another thing, and that's screwing up religion.
Yeah, they stole it. Those fucking people.
Ran it into the ground.
You can't trust them. We've Basically, every week we will probably touch on this.
Something that white people have ruined.
So on TikTok, have you ever got your pull on this other guy? I don't fucking know his name. He's a weird pastor, and he's pretty famous. Real weird looking dude though. And like he looks like a demon. He was
I
the
can't
one when
say that
like
I have.
when the vid first came around, you had that video of him where he's like, "COVID be gone." I mean,
Oh,
crazy looking dude. I'm gonna send the video to you
okay.
that I just seen the other day. Dude's a strange cat. He bought a fucking airplane off of what's that? What's that one guy's name? Makes all the fucking Mama Medea's house. Tyler Perry. He bought
Yeah.
a fucking airplane off Tyler Perry, and
So
this
at his church, they aren't passing around a tray, a plate. They're
no,
passing around a bucket.
yeah,
Can you believe
and
they've tricked these people into thinking that they should donate 10% or some odd percentage of their salary?
10%,
Like,
10%, bud. It's like child support. Baby Jesus, we've been paying for baby Jesus for a long goddamn time.
I want to
It's
see
time to get
some
off it.
receipts. It's time Mary shows those receipts.
Mary's on them
I
food
want to see
stamps. We
that
didn't even
T-ball
fucking know
receipt. I
about
want to
it.
see that T-ball receipt. I want to see the receipt for them shoes, the school shoes
That's
with the
right.
leather straps.
Here, Mary been walking around with the iPhone 13 this whole time. God damn it. I'm gonna check her
uh,
ass next week.
with as much as they beat his ass, them hospital bills, man, like no good.
Oh,
We're going straight to hell, as if we weren't already aware of that fact.
no,
But
I'm gonna find that video. I'm gonna send it to you. Dude's a creep. You'll know his face when you see him.
I
But
hope I
I don't even
don't.
fucking know where he got. I don't even know where he got famous from. Just like most of these other assholes from nothing.
Yeah, people like me that just I
At
any of my
least
free time, I'm just like,
Kim Kardashian at least blew somebody. Most of these guys, though, they just fucking made a video.
true. She earned it.
Not even a good one.
She earned it the old-fashioned way.
Yeah. Flesh
Um,
trade.
that's right. That is absolutely right. No, I tell you what, I can't get enough of TikTok. We kind of make fun of people that are just like nose in their phones, whatever. Like, I just solid gold, man. Like, you can find everything there. Like, you can find stuff that'll make you laugh your ass off. That's just funny. You can
I
find
find a
shit
lot of the
that's
same things there.
half-ass informative and interesting. You can find beautiful women dancing while
Yeah, that's what
scantily clad.
I've built quite the
Um,
algorithm. I
you
dodge a lot of this shit that you and Dick send me.
you can find just everything, man. It's all over the place. There's this poor motherfucker, but he's got enough followers that he's allowed to go live, and he gets on live and he plays mostly old country music. And it's not like he's just playing the music
Like
instrumental
actually
part.
playing it or on the radio.
He's playing the song like off an MP3 off his computer or something
Yeah.
and singing it and trying to sing in this deep country voice. And he's this big gangly motherfucker, and it's
Just
bad.
dog shit. But
It's
he's got
terrible. Like,
400,000 people
and so
because
I
they
get in
like
the
to watch it
comments.
and
I get
laugh.
in the comments and I'm like, oh man, people got to be lighting this guy up. No, man. Now there was only like 80 people watching, but everybody's like, that's so great. I love this song. And like he's off from because it's got the lyrics are playing. Like the actual musician is singing on the song.
So
And
his
he's like
quality,
off. Like he's not even like in sync with
yeah,
the
yeah.
actual words.
His quality of song is on par with our quality of podcast. And
Yes.
we're just mad that we can't go live. Is
Exactly.
that what it is?
It must be,
I'm a little
man.
pissed now you just talking about it, be honest.
Um, it must be. He kind of reminds me of that.
Have you ever seen the one guy that's a DJ, but he looks like he's from Lord of the Rings?
Yes, I have.
You know what I'm talking
I
about?
know exactly who you're talking about. And
And he's
he's
like,
got a gajillion followers.
oh my God. And I mean, I get it. It's okay. It might be a make a wish thing, but uh
Oh, that's
I didn't
terrible.
know. I didn't know if you'd seen that one.
He's live all the time.
Hey, you might as well be.
Yeah, he probably locked in the basement somewhere. So, um,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
but you can find everything on TikTok. It's just a treasure trove of knowledge,
Yeah, and
humor.
interesting people for
Oh,
sure.
if
It's fucking people of
absolutely.
Walmart times 10.
Yes, from the palm of your hand.
Fuck. Oh my god, that's
From the
great.
palm of your hand. I can't, like I said, I can't get enough of it. Like if my wife was like TikTok or me, I'd be like, I'll pack my shit.
Sorry, babe.
Like,
I'll be
yeah,
back next Valentine's
or
for my
not.
steak and my blowjob. What are you sipping on? Some
um,
shit you ain't sharing.
it's that Basil Hayden, the red wine
Toast.
cask Basil Hayden. No, it's that red wine cask. It's not bad. It's better than a toast.
Yeah. What's toast? Cinnamon?
No, I thought it'd be something like that. It's not. It just tastes
Tastes
burnt.
burnt? Oh,
Yes,
great.
honestly.
Burnt toast.
I mean, so I guess it's as advertised, but it wasn't good.
How you fuck with that toast? How do you fuck with your toast? Real toast.
Honestly, I like mine to
What
be
setting?
I want
What
mine to
setting?
I don't know. I want my toast to be I don't make toast at home, but I might get it when I go to out for breakfast. I want it to be a little crispy around the edge, but I like it when it's like kind of a little soggy from the butter. You know what I
No,
mean?
no, no. Okay, I mean I get the description. What
No, I don't
color?
want mine black. No.
You want
I want
yellow,
mine just like
gold, or brown?
gold.
Gold. Okay.
Gold.
You basically want your shit not even cooked.
So
You're eating your toast like a steak.
I don't want to have to I don't want when I take a bite of my toast, I don't want it to go I don't want it to sound like I'm eating a potato
It's
chip.
fucking toast. It's gonna do that unless it is dipped in butter. You prefer it dipped in butter.
But I'm not a
How
burn
you
my
hold them
toast guy.
eggs up if that some bitch is like that though? Because I mean, I imagine you
Fold.
do the same
You
thing.
fold it in
You
half.
turn that bitch into a shovel.
Yes.
Yeah, well,
It's
it's so soggy from the
it's
butter, it's just gonna tear.
it's like a poor man's tortilla shell,
No,
sort
it
of.
1000% is.
Um, yeah,
If you're staring down the barrel of
you
some bacon and
you
eggs.
can wrap anything in bread, um, basically. And the best part about bread is it can be you can have a sandwich, it can be a hamburger bun, it can be a hot dog bun. It could be I remember as a kid, my mom basically taking bread, brushing it with, like, some butter, putting some marinara sauce on it, some cheese, shove it in the oven, boom, pizza.
Garlic bread. Oh,
Like
pizza?
like, whatever, I mean, I remember all kinds of stuff. I mean, bread could be anything.
Yeah, I mean, bread's pretty universal. Hot dog bun, it's the whole thing. I
Bread
mean,
pudding,
just a regular piece of bread, yeah.
sure.
Make that good dressing.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't eat very much, like, sliced bread at home, though, honestly.
Why?
I don't ever think about it. It's just not
I fuck around with that bread and butter like it's going out of style. I don't know what it is, but
yeah. Yeah,
you need a little
my
sketty. You sitting down having a little sketty, you ain't got
yeah,
shit. A
sure.
little bread and butter time.
Yeah.
Fuck it. White
Yeah, no,
people,
definitely done that.
maybe. I don't know. Poor
Gar
people.
sprinkle a little garlic salt on it.
That might be a poor people thing. I don't
Maybe.
know.
Hey, man, you gotta get resourceful.
Because I
But
don't know, we talk about it a little bit, but always kids, you make a little toast, sprinkle a little cinnamon on there, motherfucker. That's like dessert.
yeah.
Cinnamon toast,
Or I
or
remember as a
peanut
kid one
butter.
time, like,
Fuck.
my dad grabbing a piece of bread, like, buttering it and, like, sprinkling some sugar on it,
Yeah, same
and
difference. Yeah.
it was pretty good from what I recall. But I've thought about trying it again just to, like, is this as good as it was, as I remember it being? But I'm like, I just wanna leave it in the past and remember it as a memory.
Probably the most, I don't know. It's not really a hillbilly thing. Maybe it's more of a Midwest thing or whatever, but Mado sandwich,
Nope,
little butter, mayonnaise, and a
not
slice
Thai,
of tomato.
not Thai, sir.
I'll fuck that thing up. Toast it though. It's gotta be toast. It's gotta be crunchy. It's a
Right.
BLT minus the B and the L.
Well, yeah, I can't
Just a
do that.
T sandwich.
I like a BLT though, man. I can eat a BLT. It sounds kinda like I mean, a little bit, it's kinda dumb when you think about it, but
No, really, it's
the
not. You're just now
combination
getting
together is
into
pretty
bacon.
good.
You're just now getting into bacon. So I remember you had a big poo poo against bacon. How you like it?
No, it's
How
not
do
a
you
poo
fuck with that bacon?
it's
You had
not
a poo poo against
it's not a
bacon. You act
poop
like it wasn't worth a fuck.
it's not a poo-poo
We
against
have it
bacon.
recorded.
I know, I just said that I feel that bacon
Ain't
is a
overrated.
little overrated.
Till you fucking really started eating some and you came
No.
on here and publicly said, "Hey, fuck it, I lied. I was wrong."
It's bacon is good, but you gotta get, like, the right bacon first.
How do you fuck with your bacon, Brad? I'm
I
second
want my
time.
bacon
Want
thick,
crunchy? Want fuck
and
your roof of your
I
mouth up
like
or
it
chewy?
no, I like it in the middle, man. I don't want it chewy, I don't want it crunchy, I want a little crunch, but a little chew I want it right in the middle.
God
I am
damn.
the ultimate fence sitter, you know this. I don't operate in the extremes. I'm the fucking right on the fence, buddy. That fence post is straight up my ass.
So you literally have like a 4-second window of cooking your bacon for it to be right, so you can shit on
And
everybody else.
that's the trick. That's what sucks is it's hard to get a
Yeah.
lot of things the way that I would like them. It
So you can
usually
just
falls on
shit
one
on it
side or the
later,
other.
or lie and tell somebody how great it was, and then they go try it and find out it's really horse shit
You,
at your
sir,
barbecue place.
you are way more picky of an eater than
I'm
I
a
am.
straight fucking shooter though. You're gonna go somewhere. If I tell you it's shit, it more than likely was shit. Hate to tell you, but
Maybe.
I'm just pick.
Maybe.
You said I'm pickier, right?
You
So
are.
if
You
somebody's looking
are.
for a decent experience, and I tell you, hey, went there, huge piece of shit, don't go there. More than likely, I might be onto something.
But you'll say that about places that are busy every night of the week.
Such as,
Well, I remember like you went out to the fish house and you weren't impressed. But I mean,
I
obviously they're
wasn't
doing something right.
impressed for what the fuck I paid.
Oh, that's just seafood, man.
No, it motherfucker, there ain't no sea in Illinois.
Exactly. So the cost of them getting it to
No,
you,
no, no. Bullshit.
yeah,
Dixon's
not
right down the
bullshit.
road. I could have drove it to him, had him cook it for
Not
me.
bullshit. You should try to go to the coast and buy a steak and see what it costs. It's like the
Fuck
opposite.
that steak.
Like shrimp's
Oh, I
dirt
know it
cheap,
is.
but it's like flip-flopped.
Yeah, they can't graze out in the ocean. I get
No.
it. I get it. But it just, I don't know. And it's old and dingy. Fuck. I don't
Yeah.
know. It's not a great place. Food's okay.
Yeah.
Anybody that tells you it's better than okay, they're a fucking liar.
Have you been to Jonas?
Yeah, a long time ago.
I haven't. I keep thinking I'd like to go sometime, but I haven't.
You
And
probably get the shits, but
I
it's worth a
just
shot, right?
I just want some good seafood.
Go get your fucking oysters down there, bud. You ain't got to
Oh,
drive all the way
I have
to
to. All the way to
BFE.
the Gulf Coast.
You ain't got to drive 4 hours away from where you're actually staying with your family to have an oyster. Go
Well,
to
honestly, the
Jonas.
oysters when we went to Gulf Shores, the oysters in Gulf Shores I thought were better than the ones we had in Destin. I'm not driving to Destin for the oysters. We had some swordfish and some fucking grouper at that place that was delicious. Just a cool restaurant with good food. I mean,
Oysters, just slimy boogers. That's all
yeah,
they are.
you got to get them grilled. I've never had a raw one. I told you I think I'm gonna try it when we go, just because. But
They're all right. They're all right.
you get
But
the
they're
grilled
slimy
one that's
boogers.
doctored up with butter and Parmesan cheese and shit like
No,
that.
because it's gonna taste like a clam, and I actually got to chew that bitch.
No,
I'm just
but
going
still, you
down the
chew is good.
hatch, bud.
That's all right.
I'm gonna treat that oyster like it is Valentine's Day, and I'm just going right down the hatch.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
Nothing says I love you.
like going down the
Like
hatch. That's
just
what I'm saying.
taking it like a champ.
And really, if you say it to him like that, 9 times out of 10, it's gonna happen. So
You think so?
no,
No, you don't. You don't
no,
think
I
so?
don't think so. I mean, I think there's a little proof in that pudding, and it goes both ways, ladies. So if your man's afraid to get down and get them knees dirty, tell him if he really loved you, and take it on the
That's
chin.
right. And they're walking around. They don't even have a beard to get it all
Stuck
mixed
in.
up in. I don't know
Yeah,
what their
shit.
holdup is.
Oh, Brad, speaking of holdups,
Well, I was thinking, now that we're talking about beards, and again going down this whole, I got thinking of like, okay, how weird would it be if a lady was giving you a blowjob and she had a beard? Well, most women don't have beards, so then I was thinking that,
not
what if
nowadays. Nowadays, no, I mean, it wouldn't be that weird.
But what if you chose to live your life in a different way where
As a
you
bearded
liked
female,
to where you liked to have sex with men and you got a blowjob from a bearded man and his beard was just tickling your balls the whole time? now you're having a weird moment, right? Because you're kind of thinking like, I might
What?
like it,
You're
like right.
giggling?
You're
Hold on. No, no. What do you mean I might like it? This
that's
was
what
your
that's
fucking
a silence.
idea.
I'm saying you're sitting there thinking, you're like, I might like it. You know, the beard tickling your satchel.
You know?
You might. It's like it's one of those things. You're like, I, I don't know what that would feel like.
Yeah, I don't know. It,
You're gonna
you're
go and buy
usually
your
the fence
wife.
guy.
You're
Yeah,
gonna
I
go and
mean,
buy your wife a beard that she can hang around her ears
I got one
tomorrow.
up. I got the old Santa Claus beard. She can try it on. We'll see what happens.
Like them resting in like a bird
I was
nest.
like, hey, Brad, you won't believe it. Wilford Brimley blew me
Give me
last night.
a
It was the
blowjob.
greatest rim job. It was the best I ever had. No,
Yeah,
that was weird. I really didn't know where you're going with that. I mean,
where'd
I've
you
met a
think I was
couple
going?
bearded women in my life, but
Oh, sure. But I mean, I'm talking like grizzly bear beard.
uh, I'm talking like Teen Wolf beard or maybe a
Oh,
little
I get what you're saying. No, I'm
stubble. You get a
talking
little
about
stubble. Maybe she
the
got them
beard,
vitamins in or something.
I guess.
I never. The old school sideshows always thought it'd be cool to see the fat bearded lady. I don't know why she always had to be fat, but why couldn't it just be a regular bearded lady like they have in Alabama?
That's true.
I don't know
It's
why she
true.
always had to be portly. That's unfair. You're cutting out half the,
Half what?
that's a very specific avenue. Bearded women.
Sure.
And now that's got to be fat bearded women. All the skinny bearded women really don't even have a fucking opportunity for that job. It's bullshit.
Yeah, you think about it. I've never seen a skinny bearded woman. I don't think. Not a once.
Not a once.
I don't think so. I mean, at least not up close and personal.
Yeah.
But
They're not that attractive, I guess. A fat bearded woman.
double whammy.
Yeah, Valentine's Day is coming up. Possibly today. Get you one.
Maybe they're just fighting that like battle like I do. It's like, well, I could shave my beard, but then it's like sacrifice. Like, if you're a woman and you're like, okay, well, I can get rid of the beard, but then everybody's gonna see all four of my chins if I do that. So maybe I just pick the beard.
Just keep it and roll with it. Become my thing.
Yeah, and maybe somebody will pay me to like put on a show at the fucking carnival. Makes me
Why was
think
it?
of Christmas Vacation when cousin Eddie says something about his son or daughter working the fucking circus and barking for the yak woman or some
That's the
shit like
yak woman.
that.
That's what we're talking about. Yeah.
Uglier than sin. Hell, great cook though. I think is what he says. Every
Oh,
time I watch that movie, and even the original Vacation, every time I watch those movies, I catch like another little like line that I'd never heard before. You know
so
what I mean?
this is definitely kind of related. You know what soft white underbelly is? Have you
I
seen
have
that?
one. I have one, but
I
um,
know. I
n
know.
but I
That
don't think I know the
the
version you're
w
speaking
like,
of.
you've seen that video of the Whitaker family that lives in West
Yes.
Virginia.
Yes.
So that guy goes around and he finds different people, just whatever it may be, down on their luck. You know, he does a lot of he lives in LA, so he does a lot of people that are either addicted or maybe they're prostitutes or pimps or
Right.
living the gang life. But he does a lot of these Appalachian ones. There's one I'm gonna fucking send you because I mean it is right up the alley of what we're currently talking about. We no need to really get into it, but I'm gonna fucking send it to you because it is it's gold. And I started out, it changed my outlook because the caption, the picture of this lady, and what is the question that's being asked. I started off with a smile on my face, but about 5 minutes into it, I'm like, I fucking feel so awful for this lady right now. In the beginning, I was like, funny, haha, you know, I'm gonna laugh
Right.
my ass off. And I started down the road. As I'm fucking watching, I'm like, there ain't nothing funny here. This is the most
Jeez.
unfortunate fucking thing I've ever heard in my life.
Do you did you see that thing that I think Dick sent us the other day of we're talking about other groups of unique individuals from certain areas of the country, and this was from like the 80s probably, maybe.
Yes, the
And the
seatbelts.
one about the people where they passed the law that you can't
Yeah.
drink while driving,
That's
and those
pub
guys
law. We're not
I know, but I'm saying it's
we're not
hilarious
taking
because
away
it's
pub
these
law.
redneck motherfuckers, and he's like, "I just don't know why you can't, man works
Hey,
12 hours, why
right
you
here,
can't
right
have
now in
3
the
beers?"
pub, do you agree or do you disagree with these people? Have you
I
currently broken said law?
I agree with these people, but it's just that it's funny
Okay.
the way they
Yes, it was
present
the
it,
way
is what
they
I'm
put it
saying.
across.
And because
Communist country.
they
We
asked
live in a communist country.
the one lady is like, because the guy, like, he's like, if you work hard for 12 hours, why can't you have 2 or 3 beers on your way home? Like, and
Amen.
the woman, she's like, "Dad, they're trying to make us wear seat belts and trying to say when you can drink, and they're just trying to make this communist country."
Exactly. I
It's
love that lady. I was in
and,
love with her as soon as I heard it.
the crazy part is, though, is, like, those people and their way of life has survived, right? We see it right now.
Hank Williams said a long time ago, country boy can survive. And I don't know why. You see, the news is so good at that sometimes. The handful of fucking people they choose to interview, it's like, oh, it could be 1,000 people standing there, and
And
they're gonna
they
find,
grabbed the crazy one.
oh fuck,
Well, we've talked about this. We've said that we'd like to, at some point in time, take this show on the road once a month, once a quarter, whatever, and do a live broadcast from a bar somewhere, specifically
yeah,
a
we're
hole
picking
in
the
the
crazy
wall, a
ones.
hole in the wall bar. And while there, we've said, it'd be nice to interview a few patrons or maybe like the bartender, owner, manager. Let's get a normal person on that could maybe, promote their
Enunciate,
business. And
yeah,
then it would be like, all right, find me Lester, right? Get Lester over
give me
here.
less,
We'll get him on the
please.
mic.
We'll buy him a drink.
Yeah. And I want to talk to that guy. Every bar I go to, like, I wanna talk to the crazy guy in the corner that, um, this probably has a tab that he'll never pay, and, like, that's who I wanna
Until
talk to.
Friday, next Friday. It's always next Friday.
Right, next Friday.
I could put a little on it right now, but next Friday.
Oh, Les. We ever find out if he's still kicking?
Who, Les?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck, man. He's like cockroach. I bet he's still alive. I'm not positive, but if he's not,
I mean,
RIP.
the man survived a fire, remember?
Hell yeah, I remember. He didn't
Um,
fucking put it out, but he survived it.
he, yeah,
Real badass would have put it out.
I guess. So anyways, over a half hour in, and we're gonna have to probably you're gonna get the Cliff Notes version of this one, but we
Hey,
will be talking a
listen,
little bit. Yes,
we can't. Some men are getting ready to lose their lives. We're doing them a disservice if you're getting ready to give them the flashcards on this deal. Can they get their day?
what are you
Brad,
saying?
can these men have their day
I feel like
here
they've
in the
had their
pub?
day. They had
You're
their
right.
day, but I mean, we're gonna have to shorten it a little bit because it's stupid long. But and we'll do our 5 for 5, which is gonna take another 15 minutes. But
I thought we already did our 5 for 5.
no,
Let's
we
let's
have not.
savor. Let's fucking savor for the back end. What do you think
Yeah,
about that?
or we can do the 5 for 5, see how it goes. And if the 5 for 5 eats up the rest of the show, then we can always circle back to
We
our
can't
guy,
leave
but
this as a cliffhanger. He's already been a cliffhanger. Let's just get into him, and then if we really feel moved by this subject,
we can do so.
right
That's
out
fine
with the
because our
five for
our
five.
5 for 5 idea wasn't like the best anyways. It was okay. So yeah, if we got time, we'll get to it.
See,
So
now
anyways,
we're going to do the sexual positions one. I think that's great. Kama Sutra
so
style.
in honor of this wonderful Valentine's Day, we're gonna discuss Illinois legend Al Capone and um, basically his life. Obviously, sort of the highlight or whatever, however you look at it, of his life. The St. Valentine's Day massacre in
Do,
Chicago.
do you think he is the most famous Illinois resident ever? I
See,
think he
that's
is.
tough because when we take,
Worldwide. I'm saying worldwide. I
what
think he
about
is.
Michael Jordan?
Yeah. I
You know what I
don't
mean?
know.
Like that. I'm saying, like, I think if you like now you take like sports people, like celebrities, let's say traditional celebrities out of the equation, sports and movie stars, whatever, and just look at. I mean, yeah, probably.
Yeah, because I'm
Um,
saying he was a dirtbag and became a celebrity,
and
so I
and
don't know.
I think that if you did a list, if you included everyone, athletes, movie stars, whoever, he's of Illinois, like most famous people from Illinois, he's got to be in the top 5 or most
Oh, if he's
notorious.
not, I don't know what the fuck. Then they're interviewing the wrong motherfucking people.
Sure.
I thought about it earlier. I couldn't name 5 fucking people.
Well, unless they're like the Baseball Hall of Fame trying to keep Pete Rose out. You know what I
Fuck
mean?
Pete
Unless
Rose.
that's their.
I love Pete Rose.
I tell you what, I like Pete Rose too, but the more and more I hear him talk, he whenever he gets on
Don't,
TV
don't,
anymore, he's
don't.
kind of a
This
dickhead.
show will be fucking over right here, right now.
I'm just saying he doesn't. I don't think he helps himself out at all. I think it was a much better case when he wasn't on TV and stuff out there
No, he
flapping
should be
his
fucking.
flapping his
He should
jaws.
flap his jaws. He should be pissed.
You ever see the interview I saw the other day with Johnny Bench, where someone's asking Johnny Bench about him, and Johnny Bench is like, "Did he break the rules?" Yeah, like so. No, like he's like, "Should Pete Rose, the baseball player, be in the Hall of Fame? Probably, but did Pete Rose break the rules of baseball? Yes, and so therefore, I'm totally okay with him not being in the Hall of Fame." I mean, he was
Well,
like,
fuck Johnny Bench.
right. I mean, I know Joe Morgan, right? Joe Morgan's been very outspoken against Pete Rose too, but
And fuck Joe Morgan. Yeah, they both sit in their little spot. They put them both together. Half the goddamn player he was. Fuck them. He did
anyways,
it. He did it as a manager, and he bet on his team for his team.
sure.
Fucking, let's do it.
If it wasn't for David Stern, we probably would have found out that Jordan was betting on the Bulls or whoever else.
Should he
Um,
be in? Should he be in the Hall of Fame of basketball?
right.
Fuck.
So Alphonse Gabriel Capone, sometimes known by the nickname Scarface, obviously an American gangster, and he attained notoriety during the Prohibition era as a co-founder and boss of the Chicago outfit.
I love that name.
The Chicago
Don't
outfit?
you? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So I mean that's
badass.
that's the name of it, the Chicago outfit. That's
That's
it.
it. Yeah, they're not the Gambinos or
Right.
or
That
the
is that's a
Chicago
good name.
outfit.
They should have fucking thrown, but they should have got rid of Bears and called them the Chicago outfit.
Ugh.
Tuxedo jerseys.
Well better played,
Um,
I
so
think.
so Capone was born in New York City in 1899 to Italian immigrant parents, and he joined the Five Points gang as a teenager and became a bouncer at several brothels. Five Points is that area that was made famous in the movie Gangs of
Gangs
New
of New
York,
York. Yeah.
right? So in his early 20s, he moves to Chicago, becomes a bodyguard and trusted friend of Johnny is it, Torrio? Torrio?
I love it. Yeah.
Head of a criminal syndicate that would later become the Chicago Outfit. A conflict with the North Side gang was instrumental in Capone's rise and fall.
So
Torrio,
unfortunately,
yeah,
we're Cubs fans, all right?
sure.
But Capone was a South Side guy.
So,
If I mean, he would have been a White Sox. I mean, he would have had to been. Very
right.
unfortunate.
I was gonna say, was he involved with the Black Sox
Yes.
scandal? But he would have been like 10 years old. So I think so.
Probably. He might have a
I
little
don't
juice in that game.
know.
Who knows?
um, so Torrio went into retirement after a North Side gang gunman almost killed him, handing control to Capone. So Capone expands the bootlegging business through increasingly violent means, but his mutually profitable relationships with Mayor William Hale Thompson and the city's police meant he seemed safe from law enforcement, which most gangsters and mobsters seem to be, or especially back then, right?
I feel like the mayors of Chicago, past and present, have an issue with this. I
What do you
feel like
mean?
a lot of them have, opened their pockets to high
Organized crime?
ranking. Oh my God.
Sure.
I for a very long time. Chicago's still fucked up. Let's be honest. Beetlejuice up there doing everything he can.
Have
I
you
don't know if he's
have
getting any
you ever
kickback,
laid
but
eyes on an uglier like
oh
person,
my
an uglier
God.
human being? And I'm not even trying like
Other than that
politics
DJ from the Lord of the Rings, I don't fucking
politics
know.
politics aside,
I've
like
seen some old pictures
everything
though.
else.
If that's what politics does to you, steer the fuck clear.
What so
I've
like
seen some old pictures.
really?
She wasn't bad.
So what
Beetlejuice now. I don't know. I
get
don't fucking know.
get a fucking
No,
wig or
there's
something
nothing.
like
No, there's nothing helping that thing. No.
Do
Contacts,
you
nothing.
remember the whole thing during COVID? She allegedly went to like all the hairdressers were shut down, but then she had hers open up so she could go in and get her shit done,
Who?
and everybody freaked out. And then I saw the picture and I'm like, it was important for you to go
Do
have that
that?
done? like
Yes. Yeah.
like you
Damn
look
it,
like
son.
a fucking wet rat. Like I don't like I
Yeah,
oh
I don't know.
so
Probably smells like
Capone.
a burnt clutch, I'm sure.
Oh, absolutely, man. Like, my goodness. So Capone apparently revealed, um, reveled in attention, and he made donations to various charities and was viewed by many as a modern day Robin Hood, which I think is common. I mean, amongst gangsters too, right? A lot of them try to give to the poor, to have the poor on their side, take care of charities, things like that, the needy. That seems sort
Which
of
which
common,
it does sound like neighborhood-wise, he was a dude. He took
right?
care of his people.
But however, the St. Valentine's Day massacre, in which seven gang rivals were murdered in broad daylight, damaged the public image of Chicago and Capone, leading to influential citizens to demand government action and newspapers to dub Capone public enemy number one. So we do have an article here from the St. Valentine's Day massacre by Jonathan Eig
I
in
got
the
like I
Chicago Magazine. Would you like to read that?
Yes, sir. St. Valentine's Day, 1929. It was a Thursday. I don't know. What's it fall this year? Tuesday? I think it
Tuesday.
is. Next
Today
Tuesday.
is a Tuesday.
Today is a Tuesday. Uh, Began like most other winter mornings in Chicago. Gray skies, stinging cold, and a light snow. Bakers and florists woke early to prepare for the rush of holiday customers all over the city. Children were putting finishing touches on cards before leaving school. Of course, not everyone was engaged in thoughts of loving kindness. Over at Cook County Jail, guards prepared for the planned midnight execution of 3 convicted killers. On LaSalle Street, bankers and stockbrokers nervously watched their stock tickers as trading began in New York. And inside a humdrum garage at 2122 North Clark Street in a quiet residential neighborhood, an unusually large number of hoodlums gathered for purposes unknown. Don't you love the word hoodlums? I'm a huge fan.
I feel like I haven't heard it in a long time.
White people. Except for a single white light bulb dangling from the ceiling, the big garage on Clark Street was dark. The parked trucks and cars almost lost in the vast shadowed spaces. A bit of weak winter sun filtered through the grimy front window. The garage was rented by the George Bugs Moran gang, which controlled most of the North Side's illegal booze traffic and ran most of its brothels and casinos. The garage was used for storage and repairs, not as a hideout or a hangout. So there was only one exception why 7 men would be there in an hour when most thugs were still sleeping off the prior night's intoxicants. See, we're hoodlums. We didn't even fucking know it. And it wasn't to exchange Valentines. They had a job. With the exception of the mechanic, the men were all well dressed that morning in suits, ties, tie pins, and street shoes. One of them wore a carnation. See, he knew it was going to be a funeral. Soon they would all be dead, victims of the most infamous unsolved crime in U.S. history, the St. Valentine's Day Massacre.
So, one thing at Clark Street, right? So, I mean, I know Clark Street's probably a long
Clark and
fucking street,
Addison, yeah.
but I imagine it probably isn't too far away from the friendly confines. Um, so at around 10:30 in the morning on February 14th, a big black Cadillac turned from Webster Avenue onto Clark Street, heading south. It stopped in front of the SMC Cartage Company at 2122 North Clark Street. 4 or 5 men got out of the car. Eyewitness accounts verified this. And one man, the driver, wore a fancy chinchilla topcoat and a gray fedora.
You know what kind of money it takes to walk around in 30 Mexican gerbils? You ever touched a chinchilla? Those
I
things are
don't think
legit.
so.
They're so soft.
I
But to make a coat out
surely
of
haven't.
one,
2 wore police uniforms, and the wind blew snow dust as they stepped across the sidewalk and into the garage through the front door. 7 men waited inside. Johnny May, dressed in greasy brown coveralls, was lying on his back under a jacked up truck, repairing a wheel. Hired by Moran as an auto mechanic and one of the countless Chicagoans who could thank Prohibition and the bootlegging business for giving him a good, steady, and relatively safe career. May lived with his wife, his 7 kids, and a dog named Highball, who was tied by a leash to the axle of the truck. The other 6 men were milling about, trying to stay warm. There were the Gusenberg brothers, Frank and Peter, 2 of the city's most troublesome goons, James Clark, a convicted armed robber and reputed killer, Adam Heyer, an accountant and embezzler, Albert Weinshank, a nightclub owner and newly appointed official of the Central Cleaners and Dyers Association, and an optometrist named Reinhard H. Schwimmer, who hung around the Moran boys mostly so he could brag to friends about his underworld connections.
all right, so let's pick apart these guys real quick. Out of the 7 that end up dead, I maybe see 2 that,
Are
maybe
relevant.
really didn't have it coming.
So who you saying, like the mechanic?
I'm saying the mechanic and the optometrist. What the fuck's he got going on?
Right.
You know what I mean? He's just trying to hang out. Very
Sure.
unfortunate. You
Right.
find better friends, but
I guess
everybody
that
else,
maybe that's when that's where the term guilty by association came from, huh?
everybody else, you could have ended up with a bullet in your ass at some point in time. Nightclub owner, troublesome goons. I don't really know what that means, but I love it. Convicted armed robber. Your ass could have got shot the first time. I don't know. And the
Yeah.
dog, obviously, dog, innocent bystander.
Sure, and if Moran's says if his gangsters were frightened by the new arrivals, they didn't show it. Most of the Moran men were armed, but not one reached for his weapon in time to do anything with it. And maybe they had been expecting the company. Maybe they knew their guests. Maybe that seeing men in police uniforms, they decided to play it cool. If it was money the officers wanted, Moran's men had plenty of it. But this was not about money, as we know. The intruders raised their weapons, 2 Tommies and a 12-gauge shotgun, and ordered Moran's men to move away from the doors and windows. They lined them up shoulder to shoulder against the wall on the garage's north side.
Do you know what the nickname for a Tommy gun is? Thanks to the Chicago outfit,
I do not.
it is called the Chicago typewriter.
I've never heard that.
Yeah, that's a
Wow.
nickname for a Tommy gun.
Geez, think how pissed the far left would be if there were still Tommy guns out there floating around.
No, there might be a couple.
It'd be
It's
bent out of
still a
shape.
Thompson submachine gun, but yeah, they're still out there.
He identifies his name may be Tommy, but he identifies as Teresa.
Yeah.
In a haze of sprayed machine gun fire, brick dust, and smoke, 7 men fell. Let me read that again because that's an important line. In a haze of sprayed machine gun fire, brick dust, and smoke, 7 men fell. Bullets tore through flesh. and lodged in the wall. Shells pinged to the ground and spun. Blood dark as motor oil surged across the cold concrete floor, flowing towards the drain. Some men died instantly, some gasped briefly for air.
All right. So can you imagine the amount of blood loss on 7 people?
And probably shot several
37
times.
times apiece. I mean,
Yeah. I mean, it just had to be
because what did it say?
an ocean.
What did it say? What did it say? 2 Tommy guns and a 12 gauge shotgun. So that 12 gauge shotgun's gonna
Leave
start in a hole about this size, leave a
You're
hole
right.
about this size.
Yes.
And those Tommy guns are probably holding 50 to 100 rounds. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what they held back then. If you got the tube
I
on
mean,
there,
that's
they're
just
put
some cold blooded shit, man. Like, just
yeah,
come
they're
in here,
laying the wood
line
to
up
you.
against the wall, and just execution style
Yeah,
mow
why
them
not?
down.
I mean, you have it right behind you.
Yeah.
People can see it here on YouTube. So
And so out on Clark Street, neighbors heard popping noises, which some took for the sound of a backfiring engine. Others, which I don't know how you mistake, maybe backfires were really fucking loud back in the day, but I don't know
yeah,
how
that
you'd
leaded
mistake the
gas,
two.
son. Yeah, that leaded gas.
Others heard the desperate howling of a dog. Jeez. A few peered out their windows in time to see men leaving the garage and getting into the Cadillac. It looked as if 2 cops were leading 2 or 3 other men, possibly at gunpoint, which that's a genius move. The automobile sped south on Clark Street, zigzagging to avoid a trolley, and disappeared from view somewhere around Armitage Avenue.
So do you think the cops were actually in on it, or they were just smart enough to dress like
I
cops?
think they were dressed like cops. I don't think they were actually cops. I
You
think
don't think
that's
they took
I
any
think
money?
that's No, well, you mean like I think the
The
2
cops,
people that were in
obviously.
cops, I think I don't think they were cops. I think they were Capone guys dressed like cops. I feel like that's known. Maybe not. You did this, Rich. I don't know if you.
Unsolved. This unsolved. I mean, we already read that part. This is a
So
probably one of the
there was never a
uns
resolution brought to
no
this.
conviction.
Yeah,
No.
well, they might have been in on it to that extent, but as far as
Yeah.
like participants, I don't know, maybe fuck, who knows? Um, so soon one of the neighbors walked over to the garage and pushed open the door. He spotted mutilated bodies on the floor and inhaled the stench of blood. Smoke still hung in the air. The dog Highball continued howling, and 6 men were dead. The 7th, Frank Gusenberg, was still alive. Sergeant Thomas J. Loftus, a veteran of the 36th District Station, responded first to the call. After moving a bunch of neighbors away from the bodies, he spotted Frank Gustenberg, shot 14 times but hanging on. "Do you know me, Frank?" the sergeant asked. "Yes, you're Tom Loftus," the gangster said between gulps of air. Then Gusenberg added, "I won't talk," as if he knew from experience what the next question would be.
Way to
But
go, Frank.
no shit, man. Like, that's the one thing that's crazy about back then is even if it was your fucking sworn enemy, they still wouldn't fucking say a
I ain't
word.
saying a fucking word. Yeah. That's cool.
Um, so after sucking more air, Gusenberg did talk briefly. "Cops did it," he said. Loftus pressed for details, but got none. "For God's sake," said Gusenberg, "get me to a hospital." He got to the hospital and died there without further comment. News of the massacre in Chicago had spread by telephone and telegraph wire across the country. The black and white photos accompanying the stories were among the most graphically violent ever to appear in the American press. Chicago may have already been known as the nation's gangland murder capital, but this crime was shocking, even by Chicago standards.
Some things just never change. I mean, let's be honest.
Now, yes, but I do feel like all major cities have violent crime. All major cities usually have specific fuck, we in Peoria, there's neighborhoods that you don't want to go to that have violent crime. So to expect that that's not going to carry over and basically scale up in a bigger city is foolish. Like, I don't know if you can name a major city that doesn't have sections of it that are
Right, but
known for violent crime.
what do you do to try to help those fucking people that just live there just by chance? They aren't there to fucking be a gangbanger or get shot in the face every
Right.
day just walking to school or Well, I mean,
But
what do
see,
you
I
do for
don't
those
and that's
people?
the and now granted, I don't know the statistics, but I have a feeling that most of those most of the crimes are not committed against just random innocent people that just happen to be there. I think a lot of it is gang on gang violence and or retaliation in some way, shape, or form for gang violence. I
Right,
don't
but
think
I still think there's a hard line there that any point in time that an innocent bystander is put into this quote unquote gang on gang violence, then it's a fucking issue.
sure. No,
That
I'm not
3-year-old obviously wasn't rocking no colors,
no,
you
I
know what
get,
I mean? And that shit
right.
happens more than it should ever
But
happen.
where do you I mean, it's like that what came first, the chicken or the egg, where's the
Crazy
source of
idea.
that?
Maybe the cops stop buying guns and selling them back on the streets. I mean, that'd be a good way to stop it.
Oh, I don't disagree, but I'm saying that,
A lot of
like,
unregistered weapons out there.
is the issue that, I think if you look at if there's gang violence that happens and a 3-year-old happens to be where it is and gets shot, like, that's obviously terrible, but, like, the the parent's choice to be involved in that lifestyle is at the root of
Hey,
that
I
issue.
didn't even say the parents were in on it. I'm just saying there's some fucking innocent ass people that get shot for
Yes.
shit like that
Oh, I don't
for no
disagree.
reason. You're just you might come spray on a house you thought someone lived in there.
Right,
They don't fucking live there. It's not ideal. So
right. You go ahead and pick it up.
Capone's still feeling cocky, would brag in days after the crime that he had an airtight alibi. His Dade County sit down with the law. But it didn't matter. This crime raised the nation's simmering resentment over gangland violence to a boil. From coast to coast, people seemed to suddenly reach the conclusion that a line had been crossed, that the violence had become too much, that the experiment known as prohibition had blown up once and for all. Thank you, Al. In the wake of St. Valentine's Day massacre, Walter A. Strong, a publisher of the Chicago Daily News, decided to ask his friend, President Herbert Hoover, for federal intervention to stem Chicago's lawlessness. He arranged a secret meeting at the White House just 2 days after Hoover's inauguration. That meeting launched a multi-agency attack on Capone. Treasury and Justice Departments developed plans for income tax prosecutions against Chicago gangsters, and a small elite squad of Prohibition Bureau agents, whose members included Elliot Ness, were deployed against bootleggers. In a city used to corruption, these lawmen were incorruptible. Charles Schwartz, a writer for the Chicago Daily News, dubbed them untouchables. That's a pretty legit movie. If you haven't seen it, it's pretty good.
I haven't seen it. I have not.
Are you serious? Kevin Costner, Robert De
No.
Niro, Sean Connery?
No, I have not. So
Get
so
your pull.
whether so whether Capone had anything to do with the St. Valentine's Day massacre or not, one thing is clear: he was punished for it. The crime lit a fire under the federal prosecutors. Capone's imprisonment became a national priority. The U.S. attorney eventually settled on a charge of felony income tax evasion, and he wound up winning the stiffest sentence ever handed down for such a crime at the time, 11 years, which I
So
believe
even
he
when they
spent
can't
at
catch you, they
Alcatraz,
still
right?
catch you. Yeah.
Of course. So the punishment proved effective. When Capone emerged from prison, his mind was wrecked with wrecked by syphilis. Did he get syphilis in prison?
No, no. I think Mrs. Capone probably wasn't down for steak and blowjob day, and Al had to venture out, and it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate end to a legend, but
So yeah, so he's wrecked by syphilis, and his criminal power was gone. Over the course of his prison term, the great gangster was interviewed dozens of times by psychiatrists and prison officials. He spoke of his regrets. He said he wished that he had not been so friendly toward the press because the publicity he earned had put a target on his back. He said that he felt that his lawyers had failed him and that the judge assigned to his case had been unfair. He apologized for the grief he had caused his mother, his wife, and his son.
let's let's talk about syphilis for a minute and how far medicine has come. Because at the time of his death, some of the doctors and people like they said he had the mental capacity of maybe a 12-year-old. That is what syphilis had done to his brain.
Well, I'm sure some of our female listeners would argue that most men have the mental capacity of a 12-year-old.
But I mean, we're probably talking about one of the best businessmen ever. I mean, some of the deals and shit this guy made, genius. You know what I mean? Like
Sure.
he came from nothing. He was probably the most powerful person in Chicago for a very long time.
Right. No, I get what you're saying. I mean,
And
yes,
money wise,
I didn't know
I
that.
don't know how
So,
much money he brought
so
in, but
basically, I think what you're getting at is left untreated. It's just crazy that syphilis could deteriorate one's brain. I guess my
it
assumption
basically
would
just
be
eats your brain.
so
It's
that's
craziest
crazy
thing.
because I would
Yes.
think it would eat your penis, but
No, no, no. And there's, I would imagine there's a couple different forms of syphili. Is
I
that
think I
would
know a
that be
lot
the
of people
plural
with.
of syphilis?
I think I
Syphili?
know. I think I know a lot of people with syphilis.
What do you mean? Oh fuck, there's a couple out there.
That's what I'm
Th-
saying,
Fuck,
man.
they
Like,
might be listening right now. Shut up.
I mean, goodness. If it eats your brain and reduces your mental capacity, I mean, maybe everybody's
Well,
chasing
I
down
probably got
COVID.
syphili.
Everybody's chasing down COVID. Maybe we got a syphilis epidemic, pandemic.
So, over the course of his prison term, the great gangster. Oh, you already did
Yeah,
that
we
one.
got that.
But he never spoke of the St. Valentine's Day massacre, the crime that helped cement his legend and end his career. Due to his failing health, Capone was released from prison on November 16th, 1939. He spent the last years of his life at his mansion in Palm Island, Florida, spending time with his wife and grandchildren. And on January 25th, 1947, surrounded by his family in his home, Capone died after his heart failed as a result of a stroke.
So, I'm sure you've heard, and I don't know if there's any truth to it. I've heard a few different stories. One, obviously, they're locally in East Peoria. There's rumors of
Yeah,
people used to say that
that
yeah,
stone
there's
house.
stone house up on the hill across the river. But people said that
Correct.
like when things would get a little hot in Chicago, that he would wander down to Peoria for a while just to let things cool down.
Yeah, and lay low.
Yeah.
And the
And then
Sheltons here, I think, were cool with him, so it was kind of a
and and
mutual.
also I don't know if you've ever noticed it. So up where I'm at, across the river over on the Sparland side, there's an old house that's like they turned it into a duck club. It was for sale just a couple years ago, but there was a rumor that that was a place that he'd come
Excuse
hang
me,
out at to go duck
for
hunting.
the non-hillbilly listeners out there, what the fuck is the Duck Club?
A duck club, like they're all up and down the Illinois River once you get north of the Peoria area. Like they're all throughout up along Route 26 and Route 29. They're basically an area where they usually have some sort of they own X amount of land so that you can set up if you want to do blinds, kind of in the marshlands that lay
White
adjacent
people
to the
just
river.
white
Yeah, and
people with
it's
guns,
big
white
money
people with
stuff.
guns,
Yeah,
right?
sure. It's definitely
Okay,
big money stuff. And honestly, that's what it is around here. And we saw it up when we were camping up at the campground. It's big money people from Chicago a lot of
yeah,
times
come
that
down here,
that
shoot
come
those.
down this way and then they go to these places during duck
You wanna
season
talk
because
about a more flavorless bird,
a
the
duck.
duck. It's half
Um
fish, half bird. Ain't worth a
Yeah.
fuck.
I tell you what though,
Ain't
man,
worth a
that
fuck.
the duck in there has duck tenders. They're fucking delicious, and I don't know what sauce it is they serve with them, but it's the real
Ask them what
deal.
kind of fucking duck it is.
I don't know, good duck, delicious duck.
Be a mallard or something, I don't
Um,
know, but
I mean, but
they
it's
usually ain't worth
definitely
a fuck.
um, I think it's one of those things that's hard not to dry it out. It's you got to have the right person cooking it the right way. I imagine, but there was a story. There's here in town, there used to be a little like hotel motel, I guess, out on the
Holiday Inn.
east edge of town, and there was a little bar there called the Sly Fox. And apparently, there's a story about how during duck hunting season back in the day, you could wander into the Sly Fox on a random night, and you might run into Wade Boggs. That Wade Boggs would come crash and then go duck hunting here in the area. But I just thought that was kind of neat. So, yeah, just so there are some local ties. I mean, Chicago's somewhat local for us. I mean, it's just a couple hours away, whatever, a few hours away. But,
My,
um,
my
you know,
I'm a big quotes guy. and usually I try to put them in here, but I found a good one. I feel like it definitely ties into the St. Valentine's Day Massacre. If Al Capone had anything to do with it, I don't know. I don't think he did, but his he's quoted as saying, "Don't mistake my kindness for weakness. I'm kind to everyone. But when someone is unkind to me, weak is not what you're going to remember." And I love that.
Yeah,
That's a lion, you know what I
that
mean?
is.
Talking. This might be the last fucking thing you say if you say something stupid.
No, and
And
I think
and
that
I've heard stories. I listened to might be like his great granddaughter talk about like you had family Al Capone, which untouchable, great man there, did everything he needed to do. But that she would also see that when certain people would come to the house, she was talking about maybe like a Christmas or a Thanksgiving where he's out in the kitchen, got the apron on, he's fucking cooking, getting the meatballs ready. Couple guys come in, he drops the apron, walks into the other room, totally different dude.
so I don't know if you've heard. I've heard this a couple from a couple different people lately. I've seen it pop up on the talk and stuff like that. So, one person that said something along these lines was Jordan Peterson. You know who that is?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and the other one, I'm not sure who it was, but like, he said something along the lines of all men should be dangerous, or all men should be capable of violence, or something like that. And like whoever they were talking to at the time, kind of gave them like the, "What do you mean?" And they're like, "I'm not saying you should be violent. I'm not saying you should be dangerous, but
Just be
you should
capable.
have the capacity to. All men should have the capacity to be that if you need to be, type of thing." And that the one of the kind of using the lion reference, like you said, they said something about like that is like you want to know a real man. That a real man is the type of man that like has that capability, but you would never know it by the
Yeah,
way he
doesn't
carries
use
himself
it.
on a daily
Yeah,
basis. That
doesn't
it's
need to.
to have it, but be able to control it.
And I would imagine other than these fucking guys, most of the people got the hint the first time.
Yeah,
Don't fuck with them. You know
sure.
what I mean? It's the old, like Ron White said, 6 cops fucking outside that bar. I didn't know how many it was gonna take to whip my ass, but I knew how many they were gonna use.
Right.
Every fucking one of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Leave it alone. I'm
Yep.
outnumbered.
No, absolutely.
And he
It is a
basically started as the head dude. That's the thing. Like once he comes from New York, young, 20 some years old, I think he was the head of you know what I mean? So just that fact, like you have to think the mind it took to be in the place he put himself at that age and stayed there for quite some time.
So one thing I think that's interesting is how when we reflect back on like the gangs of the 20s and 30s and traditional organized crime, mobsters, the Al Capones of the world, things like that. I feel like they're almost revered in a way, right? They're sort of like, obviously people acknowledge that they did bad things,
You know what's
but
cool about him is he survived the game. He died of syphilis. He didn't
right.
get shot. He was
But
untouchable. He was untouchable.
yeah, but what I'm getting at is that they're viewed in sort of a positive way, at least, or at least partially positive. Where today, in the modern day, when you look at gangs as we see them now, they're not viewed in a positive way at all. And the reason I think that is,
I think they do business a little different.
that's
It's
what I mean,
unfortunate.
is that I feel
Well,
like you
because
just said,
what was the first line that came out about him? He was like his neighborhood's Robin Hood.
right? And that's what
He
I'm saying,
took care of his people, where he came from, a whole bit. A
like
lot of
you
these guys
mentioned,
now, they don't give a fuck.
he was a family man. He took care of his family when he was at home with his family. He was a family man. He took care of his family. He was a loving, father and husband. I mean, at least, well, on the surface, I'm assuming he didn't get syphilis from his wife, but, um, and he was charitable in the community and all those things. Um, he was only
I
violent with people that
needed to be violent
needed
with.
right.
Yeah.
And, not saying that it's right, but it
I've
seems like today's gangs, it's a much different story, and I'm not saying exclusively, I'm sure there are places where maybe there are crime organizations, if that's what we're gonna call them, that do help people that are in need and try to be a force for good to some degree in their neighborhoods, but
I'm
I
gonna
don't I think that's probably the exception more than the rule.
I'm gonna bring up one that's kind of in our backyard. My story's different because he doesn't belong to the same group, but that's, like 1% motorcycle clubs. They usually don't run rickshaw on like innocent civilians. Those are
No,
aimed very specifically at certain people. One of
and
the
they're usually
coolest
very charitable.
one of the coolest people I ever met in my life was a Hells Angels president, tiny little redheaded guy. At the time, I didn't think much about it, but the older I get, I think back and I'm like, how crazy this fucking guy must have been. He maybe weighed like a buck 65, whatever. And these people like waited on him hand and foot, you know. Nicest guy, treated me like gold,
Right.
would have never known what he was probably capable of or what that guy had maybe done to get that status,
Sure.
you know. And no danger, zero danger at all. You know what I mean? And most civilians, zero danger at all. You're not even on his radar. And
Right.
unfortunately, I think a lot of people now operate as most everybody's fair
Differently.
game, and
Yeah.
that's not the way it's
Yeah, or
that's
there's
not the way
no
it's supposed
there's
to
it seems
be.
like there's no concern for collateral damage. It's more like back then it seemed like there was definitely it was like what we talked about, like they were capable of these terrible things of extreme violence and um all that stuff, but it was only when necessary and in other areas of their life they tried to carry themselves in in a totally different way and in a way that could be respected by their community and their family where truthfully today it seems the opposite. It's straight just be a piece of shit. Like it's like the bigger piece of shit you are, the more qualified you are.
Yeah, and
Um which
that's
is just
unfortunate.
and it sucks. Like I get like organized crime. I almost feel like you could say there's a place for it in the world. I mean, it exists. It's always going to exist as long as there's things that are illegal that there's a demand for. Like there's always going to be some form of it that exists.
Right.
Um,
They have to. That's what creates those avenues. I mean,
right. I just don't. Some of it today, it just seems it's just a different world, man. It just seems so senseless, so immature, misguided, and I mean, it's sad, really, and I don't know. I mean, without getting too far down the rabbit hole and alienating certain segments of our population, I don't know how much more we could have this conversation.
what? I mean, it comes in all different shapes and
Oh,
sizes,
sure,
colors,
sure. Yeah,
breeds. I
yeah,
mean,
absolutely. Absolutely. No, you're absolutely right. I mean, whether it's
because even old school gangsters, they get it of any color. You know what I mean? This isn't fair game for everybody. You really only want to target people that are in it. I mean, that's who's a threat.
yeah, and I'm not saying like,
People
what
outside don't even fucking know what you're doing right now
right.
most of the time.
And
You know
I'm
what I
not
mean?
and
They're
I'm
clueless.
really not I don't have a certain group in mind when I say alienate certain segments of our population because like you're absolutely right. There are gangs and groups that come in every color, shape, and size, and so there's definitely um, nothing to take from that comment. It's just I think overall, in general, I mean, as a society as a whole, it's just I feel like people have lost their core values and they've lost their regard for just human life in
Li-
general.
Like right here in the state of Illinois, Outlaws Motorcycle Club. They every year, right here in Peoria, they do a toy drive for the kids. bicycles. You know what I mean? They'll go in
Yeah.
and buy fucking every bicycle. This Walmart's got, that Walmart's got, whatever. And that's badass. You know what I mean? That
Yeah.
takes a little shine off what they're doing, and it is what it is. That's dirty money. You made it by doing this or doing that. You know, at least you're putting it towards a good thing. It's like you
Exactly.
said, it's going to exist regardless. So the least you could fucking do is take care of where you're from.
I
Start
agree with
there.
that. Yeah.
You know, everybody always talks about change, this and that, and they always want to think huge. You don't have to think huge. Take care of home first. You take care of home, everywhere else should get better. Ideally, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
If
absolutely.
everybody had that same goal.
No, I agree. I agree. So who we fucking today?
We doing the 5 for 5? You trying to blow right over it? I see how
I
you're
think we
doing.
save it. I don't know if it really fits at this point,
Are you,
honestly.
I'm madder than hell now. I was all ready for those 5 sex positions. I already know who I'm fucking. So hopefully you got a beer to crack over. You don't, because you're
I
drinking this
don't,
cinnamon toast.
which is pretty well tapped.
Pretty well tap my ass. All right, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful Valentine's Day. Take care of her. Take care of him. Whoever you're taking care of.
That's right.
Ugh.
Oh, and don't forget, we need to start making pub law like a real
What's up?
thing. Pub law.
Pablo, beer cans open on the way home.
That's right. Send all your
It's not a
pictures.
communist
send all
country.
your photos and tag us. Pub law,
Pub law. That's right.
especially on a Friday afternoon.
Touche. Get after it 3 days from now. All right, everybody. Here's to those that wish us well. All the rest can go to hell. Fuck you, St. Valentine. In the club getting tipsy.
Everybody in the club getting tipsy.
But seriously, take care of your significant other.
Everybody in
Love
the
who you
club
love.
getting tipsy.
Right here in the pub.
Everybody
I love you
in the
too,
club
Brad.
getting tipsy.
I love you.
I won't deny it, I'm a straight rider. You don't wanna fuck with me. I got the police fussing at me, but they can't do nothing to a G.
Wow, 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 is very nice.